Welcome to Stock Music Musician, where you'll learn how to sell music online. And now your host, Evan Oxhorn.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Evan from Stock Music Musician here, and I'm going to give you my review of Reason 9. I finally had a couple of weeks to work with it and wrap my head around all the new changes, and I'm really happy to say that this is exactly what I was hoping for. Totally worth the upgrade if you're coming from Reason 7 or lower. I never had Reason 8, so I can't rightly say if it's a right upgrade to make, but I'm going to talk you through some of the new features and some of the updates, and you'll be able to make the decision on your own after we finish this quick video. So stick around, be sure to like the channel and subscribe, and let me know what else I can do to help you out. Okay, so when we talk about Reason 9, I think the first thing that we need to address are the players, and they are by and large amazing. I'm gonna break it down now by each player and give you my reaction to them. So when it comes to the scales and chords player, that's an A+. The ability to come up with complicated chords and play them quickly to try out new sounds really pushes your creativity in whole new ways, especially for me when it comes to like string arrangements or certain jazzier chords on piano, or just if you want to lay down a quick backing track to get a feel. So I would give that an A+. When it comes to the dual arpeggiator, I'd say that's like a B+. It's cool. It's nice to have. It's more powerful than the built-in arpeggiate, but it's still not exactly the arpeggiator that I'm looking for. One that I really like, for example, is the one built into Machina, where, and probably all of Complete, but at least built into the Machina player, where you can sort of have these patterns, but then you can sort of adjust them on the fly to get sort of evolving textures, and I think that's just a little less intuitive to do with the arpeggiate or the dual arpeggio, but I still think it's a pretty solid arpeggiator, not gonna knock it at all. Then we get to the note echo, and I still don't really know what to make of it. The times that I've used it and it's worked well, it's been a really unique feature to have, whether using it for chords, or using it to create sort of unique echoes, as you can see in the video over there on the card. It has some really cool uses. You can also use it to make drum patterns, especially on hi-hat maybe, or do snare fills by setting the space really quickly. But still not totally sure I'm in love with it. It's nice to have. I'd give it about a B+. Next, you're gonna come to the pitch edit. And I think this is leagues above Neptune or any other thing that I've used so far to do pitch editing. It sounds pretty natural. It's easy to use. It's fast, which is a huge thing. And it preserves the expression as much or as little as you want it to. That said, it still can't make me sound like a good singer. But I think if you had somebody with some initial talent, you can really tighten up the performance. And I've used it a couple of times when playing guitar, for example, and just hitting one wrong note in a sort of a phrase or a solo and just sort of tweaking it up or down a little bit, and that works great. I'm also pretty sure that if you were to experiment with it, you could use it to come up with some really crazy, unorganic, unnatural sounds that could be really interesting. So I'm going to give that an A+ as well. Next, we have the new sounds. The Reason says, or Propellerheads say that they added 1,000 new sounds to this. I think that's sort of fudging it a bit. A lot of the sounds are reworked versions of what already existed in Reason, just sort of updated either to take advantage of the players or just adding in a few more effects. They all sound great. I really have consistently found them to be usable and all of that, but to call them new, I think that's pushing it. A lot of these sounds were sort of in there already, you just might have had to add an effect or two. So I'm gonna give them like an A-, B+. great to have. But again, I've said it before in my previous feature wish list video, I would like to have more samples. You can find samples anywhere, but I'd like to have some high quality new samples built in. Then we go to the ability to add different skins. To me, that's more like bonus credit. It's great to have, but it doesn't really change anything about it. And they didn't reskin the mixer, which kind of sucks. You've got this, dark or darker layouts for the other two windows, and then you pop to the mixer and it's all bright and white or gray, off-white, gray, whatever the normal color was before. That sort of seems like half thought out. Moving along to the improved editing. It's awesome. The ability to shorten notes from either the left or the right is great. A lot of other little changes to editing that speed up the process of using the piano roll and editing in general. So I'm going to give that a solid A. And finally, the other major change that I noticed and that I really have been wanting for a long time is bounce in place. Bounce in place basically creates a new track where it renders the MIDI file and all the effects on that inserted on that channel, or an audio file and all of the insert effects onto a separate WAV file and a separate track, and mutes the original track that they came from. And this is great for when you want to minimize processor power, or you want to just get an idea locked down, especially if you're using more random parameters and you liked the way the performance came. So that's totally awesome. It's something I've been waiting for a long time. Got to give that an A+. Now there are 3 things that I've encountered in Reason 9 that I think are kind of big negatives. I've got a separate video that I'm working on where I actually make some more in-depth suggestions for what could be done to improve it. But to me, these 3 are sort of big issues. First of all, the players don't have CV in or out voltage. This means one of the greatest features of Reason, the ability to have various devices manipulate each other, sort of disappears a little bit in the players. Now granted, you can put them into a combinator and use the CV into the combinator to manipulate some of the parameters, but that's sort of a workaround, A, and B, you don't have a CV out from some of them. And I could see, like, for example, the arpeggiator, there could be really some powerful things you could do with gates and CV voltage there. So that sort of seems like an oversight. Second big critique, it seems like from a performance level, Reason 9 is just a little bit slower, has a slightly higher DSP load than Reason 7. Totally usable. Computers have advanced since Reason 7 came out, so it's fine, but I've noticed some things getting a little more bogged down than they used to. And finally, and this is the big one, it seems ever so slightly less stable. I had one major crash in Reason 9 that basically I couldn't Control Alt Delete out of, I couldn't X out or Alt F4 or anything. I had to do a hard reboot of my computer. And as far as I can recall, I've never had to do that in any previous version of Reason. And even just basic crashes were pretty rare. Hopefully that's just because it's a new piece of software and they're still working out the kinks, but sort of frustrating if that's how it's really going to be. I'm certainly now paying more attention to saving my files, which kind of sucks. Now, that said, I totally love Reason 9, and it's what I was looking for in a next generation digital audio workstation. So coming from Reason 7, it's a total win. If you're coming from Reason 8, I think the players, the new sounds, the enhanced editing, the pitch editing, I think they all make a solid argument for upgrading, but I could see holding out to see what else comes down the line. So hope you enjoyed this. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be doing a lot of in-depth tutorials on how to use Reason 9 and also just general tips about songwriting. So thanks, have a great day, hope you enjoy.